$60,000, gone, vanished in 12 months, and the people who lost it did absolutely nothing wrong. They paid their mortgage, they kept the place spotless, and still, the equity in their Florida condo just melted away. About $5,000 a month, disappearing while they slept. Now here's the scary part. That's not even the worst town on this list. Right now, across Florida, condo owners are getting hit with surprise bills of $50,000, even $100,000, and thousands are rushing to sell before the next one lands. Something is breaking in the Sunshine State, and it's happening fast. Today, I'm counting down the top 10 Florida towns where condo prices are crashing in 2026, backed by real data from Realtor.com and Redfin. Number 10, Port St. Lucie. We kick off our countdown on Florida's Treasure Coast, in a town that looked absolutely unstoppable just 3 years ago. Port St. Lucie was the poster child of the pandemic boom. When remote work exploded in 2020, thousands of buyers went hunting for warm weather, no state income tax, and affordable prices. And this quiet inland coastal town checked every single box. Prices rocketed. Bidding wars broke out. It felt like the party would never end. But here's the thing about parties. Eventually, somebody turns on the lights. When companies started calling workers back to the office, that flood of remote buyers dried up almost overnight. And the demand that inflated this market, it simply walked away. Now, Port St. Lucie has the opposite problem. Too many condos and not enough people who want them. Picture this, a seller who bought at the very top in 2022, still holding out for that dream number, watching their listing sit for month after month with no offers. Then the first price cut, then the second, then the third. That's not a rare story here anymore. It's the new normal. Inventory is stacking up, and every extra unit on the market pushes prices a little lower for everyone else. What makes this town number 10 instead of higher on the list? The bleed is slow, not sudden. There's no dramatic single-year collapse like you'll see later. Just a steady, grinding softness as sellers slowly accept that 2022 is never coming back. Here's your practical takeaway. If you're buying in Port St. Lucie, understand that the listing price is fiction. It's a starting point, not a real number. The data shows sellers here are stuck, motivated, and running out of patience, which means you have real power to negotiate. Come in lower than feels comfortable. Ask for closing costs. Ask for repairs. Let the silence work for you. Because in a market where homes sit unsold, time is on the buyer's side, not the seller's. Number 9, Daytona Beach. Next stop, the world's most famous beach, and one of Florida's most vulnerable condo markets. Daytona Beach makes this list for one brutal, unavoidable reason: age. Drive along that coastline, and you'll see tower after tower of oceanfront condos, many built decades ago, back when a beach view was all anyone cared about. Those buildings were somebody's dream: sun, sand, and sunsets right off the balcony. But today, that age has become a financial time bomb. Remember the Surfside law we talked about? It targets buildings over 30 years old, forcing structural inspections and demanding that associations finally fund the repairs they'd quietly ignored for years. And Daytona is full of exactly those buildings. Salt air, ocean spray, and time have been eating away at concrete and steel for decades. Now the inspectors are showing up, clipboards in hand, and the bills are staggering. Vivid picture this: a retiree who bought a cozy little beach condo years ago, planning to spend their golden years watching waves roll in. Instead, they open an envelope from the HOA and find a $40,000 special assessment for concrete repairs. Money they never budgeted for, on a fixed income that can't stretch another inch. What do? They sell, fast, and they're not alone. When dozens of owners in the same situation all rush for the exit at once, the market gets flooded, and prices tumble. That's the quiet crisis unfolding along Daytona's shoreline right now. Here's your practical takeaway. An old beachfront condo at a great price is not a bargain until you've seen the reserve study and the inspection report. That cheap sticker price could be hiding a 5-figure assessment waiting with your name on it. Always, always ask, when was the last structural inspection, and what did it find? Because on this coast, the ocean view is free, but the concrete underneath it could cost you everything. Let's keep climbing. Number 8, Bradenton. Now we cross the state to the Gulf Coast, where the water is calm, The sunsets are legendary, and the condo market is quietly sinking. Bradenton sits right next door to Sarasota, tucked along Florida's western shore, and it's long been a snowbird paradise. Every winter, retirees from the north would flock down here to trade snow shovels for sandals, snapping up condos as cozy seasonal escapes. For years, that steady demand kept prices climbing. But in 2026, those very same snowbirds are getting cold feet, and it has nothing to do with the weather. Here's what's happening. The entire Gulf Coast is absorbing some of the harshest insurance and flood risk hits in the entire state. Bradenton sits in a zone where storm surge and flooding aren't just possibilities. They're priced in by every insurance company writing policies here. And when insurers see that risk, premiums explode. Suddenly, that affordable little winter getaway comes with an insurance bill and an HOA fee that eat up more than the mortgage itself. Picture the snowbirds' math. They crunch the numbers on the carrying costs, insurance, dues, potential assessments, and realize the affordable beach condo now costs a small fortune just to hold on to each year. So they walk away. Or worse, the ones who already own start selling, adding even more units to a market that's already overflowing. That's the undertow pulling Bradenton down. It's not a single dramatic event. It's the slow, steady realization that Gulf Coast condo living just got a whole lot more expensive to sustain. Here's your practical takeaway. In a market like Bradenton, never judge a condo by its purchase price alone. Add up the true yearly cost, insurance, HOA dues, flood coverage, and a cushion for future assessments. That's your real number. A cheap condo with a brutal carrying cost is not cheap at all. It's a slow leak in your bank account. Number 7, West Palm Beach. This next one is going to surprise you, because when you think of a crashing condo market, you probably don't picture one of the wealthiest corners of Florida. Welcome to West Palm Beach, glittering, upscale, and home to some of the most desirable addresses in Palm Beach County. This is the land of luxury, yachts, and old money. And yet, even here, the condo market is softening in a way nobody saw coming. For years, the assumption was simple. Wealth protects you. Buy in a rich area, and your property is bulletproof, right? Wrong. In 2026, West Palm Beach has quietly become one of the most buyer-friendly condo markets in the entire state. More inventory is hitting the market, homes are sitting longer, and price cuts, once unthinkable here, are becoming routine. Here's the hard truth. Luxury can't escape. A 40-year recertification bill doesn't care how much money you have. When an older tower needs millions in structural repairs, that cost gets split among the owners, and even affluent buyers start doing the math. Add in the same soaring insurance premiums hammering the rest of Florida, and suddenly that prestigious address comes with a price tag that makes even wealthy buyers hesitate. Picture this, a high-end condo that would have triggered a bidding war just 2 years ago, now sitting on the market for weeks, with a price-reduced banner slapped across the listing. That scene is playing out across West Palm Beach right now. The shine is still there, but the immunity is gone. Here's your practical takeaway. If you're shopping in West Palm Beach, understand that for the first time in years, buyers have real leverage, so use it. Don't be intimidated by the luxury polish. Negotiate hard. Ask about upcoming assessments. Ask why the unit hasn't sold. In a market where even the wealthy are cutting prices, hesitation is your advantage. Now we're heading into the heavier hitters. Number 6, Jacksonville. Let's travel to Florida's northeast corner, to a city so big it's actually the largest by land area in the entire United States, and one facing a very specific kind of condo trouble. Jacksonville. Unlike the aging beachfront towers of Daytona or the flood-soaked Gulf Coast, Jacksonville's problem isn't old buildings or storm surge. It's something more basic, and in some ways more dangerous. Too much supply. During the boom years, builders looked at Jacksonville and saw opportunity. It was affordable, growing, and riding the same Sunbelt wave lifting the rest of Florida. So they built, and built, and built. New condo developments sprang up across the city, all betting that the flood of new residents would never stop coming. But then the Sunbelt cooled. As remote work faded and the pandemic migration slowed, that endless stream of buyers thinned to a trickle, and Jacksonville was left holding the bag, a city with far more units than buyers to fill them. Here's the iron law of real estate. When supply overwhelms demand, There's only one lever left to pull: price. Sellers competing against a wall of empty units have no choice. Cut, cut, and cut again, just to stand out from the crowd. That's the quiet grind pulling Jacksonville's condo values down in 2026. Picture this: an entire new development where units are sitting unsold month after month, while the builder slashes prices and throws in incentives. Free upgrades, covered fees, anything to move inventory. And every one of those desperate discounts drags down the value of every other condo nearby. Here's your practical takeaway. In an oversupplied market like Jacksonville, new construction is your friend. Builders sitting on unsold units are often the most motivated sellers in the entire city, willing to negotiate on price, absorb closing costs, or toss in upgrades to close the deal. Don't just tour resale condos. Walk into those builder sales offices and ask, "What will you do to move this unit today?" Halfway there. Let's keep going. Number 5, Tampa. Now we hit a major metro, and one with a statistic so brutal it deserves special attention. Tampa. This booming Gulf Coast city earns its spot in the top 5 for a number that should stop every condo buyer cold. Tampa posted the steepest HOA fee jump in the entire state, up a staggering 17% in a single year. Let that sink in. In just 12 months, the cost of simply owning a Tampa condo, before your mortgage, before insurance, leaped by nearly a fifth. But the fees are only half the story. Realtor.com projects Tampa area prices will fall another 3.6% in 2026. That's not a market that's already bottomed out. That's a market with real downward momentum still building. So what tipped Tampa over the edge? Hurricane Helene. The flooding was a genuine turning point. For years, people brushed off the storm risk as the price of paradise. But when the water actually came, flooding streets, ruining ground floors, stranding residents, the illusion shattered. Suddenly the risk wasn't theoretical. It was standing in their living room. Picture this: a family that loved their Tampa condo, watching floodwater rise outside, then quietly deciding they've had enough. And here's the fascinating part. Many of them didn't leave Florida at all. They just moved inland to lower risk areas like Pasco County, chasing the same sunshine without the storm surge. Every family that makes that choice puts another Tampa condo on the market and pulls demand a little further away from the water. That combination, exploding fees, falling prices, and residents fleeing inland, is a powerful downward spiral. Here's your practical takeaway. In Tampa, the HOA fee is not a footnote, it's a flashing warning light. A 17% jump in 1 year tells you the building is scrambling to cover rising costs, and more increases are likely coming. Before you buy, ask for the last 3 years of fee history. If the line is shooting straight up, walk in with your eyes wide open. Top 4 now. This is where it gets serious. Number 4, Sarasota. We're back on the Gulf Coast, in one of Florida's most beloved destinations, a town famous for white sand beaches, world-class arts, and a quality of life people dream about for decades. Sarasota. And yet, this postcard-perfect paradise is watching its condo prices fall roughly 10% year over year. That's a real, painful decline in a place that, on the surface, seems to have everything going for it. So what's dragging it down? Sarasota is the perfect storm, a town getting hit by all 3 of the forces we talked about at the very beginning, all at once. First, old buildings. Many of Sarasota's most desirable condos are the older beachfront towers now caught squarely in the Surfside law's crosshairs. Second, brutal flood risk. Its prized location right on the Gulf is exactly what makes insurers nervous, and premiums punishing. And third, the assessments. The surprise repair bills landing hardest on the retirees, who make up so much of this community. Picture this: a retiree who worked their whole life to finally afford a Sarasota beach condo, the reward for decades of saving. Now they're facing a 5-figure special assessment on a fixed income, an insurance bill that keeps climbing, and dues that rise every year. The dream is still beautiful, but it's becoming impossible to afford. And when enough of those owners reach their breaking point at the same time, they list. All at once, that wave of sellers, combined with buyers scared off by the same rising costs, drives prices down, even in a town people genuinely love. That's what makes Sarasota so telling. This isn't a bad town. It's a gorgeous one. It's proof that the crash isn't about desirability, it's about cost. Here's your practical takeaway. Don't let a town's beauty blind you to its balance sheet. In Sarasota, the location will sell itself, but the carrying costs will quietly bankrupt you if you don't run the full numbers first. Fall in love with the view after you've read the reserve study. Number 3 is a big one. Number 3, Fort Lauderdale. Now we crack the top 3, and we're leaving the small towns behind for a genuine major city, where the numbers get downright alarming. Fort Lauderdale. Condo prices here are down about 12% in a single year, and that number matters for a reason bigger than Fort Lauderdale itself. It proves this crisis is not just a small town, aging beachfront problem. It's hitting big, established metros, the kind of markets people assumed were far too large and too in demand to ever stumble. So what's the primary culprit here? Above all else, it's the insurance squeeze. Fort Lauderdale is a dense, packed city filled with exactly the kind of aging mid-rise towers most exposed to the new safety laws. But layered on top of that is an insurance market that has genuinely started to break down. Remember that statistic? The average Florida homeowner now paying around $9,462 a year for insurance? In a coastal, high-risk, hurricane-prone city like Fort Lauderdale, those costs bite hardest. Picture this: a condo owner who opens their insurance renewal and finds the premium has doubled, or discovers their carrier has pulled out of Florida entirely, leaving them scrambling for coverage at any price they can find. Now multiply that by an entire city full of owners facing the same nightmare at the same time. The math simply stops working, and units flood onto the market. That's how a major metro loses 12% of its condo value in 12 months. Not from one disaster, but from the relentless, grinding pressure of costs that just won't stop rising. Here's your practical takeaway. In Fort Lauderdale, get your insurance quote before you fall in love with a unit, not after. Too many buyers sign a contract, then discover the premium blows their entire budget, and the deal collapses at the last minute. Know your day one insurance cost up front, in writing. In this city, the premium can make or break the whole purchase. Almost there. The final 2 are the hardest hit in all of Florida. Number 2, Fort Myers. We've officially entered freefall territory. Because the number 2 town isn't just softening or sliding, it's plummeting. Fort Myers. Condo prices here dropped roughly 19% in a single year. 19%. Take a moment to really feel that number, because it's not a gentle correction, it's a genuine collapse. And it puts Fort Myers second on our entire list. So what pushed this Gulf Coast city off a cliff? In one word, storms. Fort Myers took a direct, devastating beating from recent hurricanes. The kind of damage that doesn't just break buildings, it breaks confidence. And when you combine that storm trauma with everything else Florida is already dealing with, you get a market in full retreat. Think about the triple blow landing on Fort Myers owners all at once. First, the hurricanes themselves, the physical destruction, the repairs, the fear of the next one. Second, spiking insurance, because after major storms, premiums don't just rise, they skyrocket, if you can even find coverage at all. And third, the mandatory repairs from the safety laws, piling on assessments right when owners are already stretched to the breaking point. Faced with all 3, owners didn't just consider leaving, they rushed for the exits, all at the same time. Picture the math for a moment. A 19% drop can wipe out years of equity practically overnight. Someone who bought near the peak, expecting to build wealth, instead watched a huge chunk of their investment simply vanish, through no fault of their own. That's not a statistic. That's a family's savings, gone. And that flood of panic sellers, hitting a market where buyers are already terrified of storm and insurance risk, is exactly what drives a 19% freefall. Here's your practical takeaway. In a storm-battered market like Fort Myers, ask the questions nobody wants to ask. What damage did this building take? What was repaired, and what's still pending? What did insurance actually cover? In a market this shaken, knowledge is your only shield. And now, the number 1 crashing condo market in all of Florida. Number 1, Cape Coral. This is it, the epicenter. The number 1 crashing condo market in the entire state of Florida. And it's the very town we opened this video with. Cape Coral. Remember that shocking figure from the very beginning? The $60,000 in equity the typical condo owner lost in just 12 months, $5,000 a month, evaporating while they slept. This is that town, and it gets worse. Realtor.com forecasts Cape Coral prices will fall another 10.2% in 2026, the steepest projected decline in the entire state. This market isn't just crashing, it's still falling. So why Cape Coral? Why here, above every other town on this list? Because Cape Coral is where every single force we've discussed collides at maximum intensity. It's a city literally built on canals, famous for having more miles of waterways than almost anywhere on Earth. Beautiful? Absolutely. But that also means enormous water exposure, sky-high flood risk, and insurance costs that punish nearly every property. Layer on a market saturated with new supply, then add the storm and repair costs battering the whole region, and you get the perfect storm of a condo collapse. Picture this, a canal-front condo that felt like the ultimate Florida dream just 3 years ago, now worth tens of thousands less, with an insurance bill that keeps climbing, and a forecast promising even more decline ahead. That's not a rare case in Cape Coral. That's the market. Here's your practical takeaway. If you own in Cape Coral, understand the market is screaming one of two things: price realistically or wait it out. Fighting the trend with a fantasy price will only leave your unit sitting unsold as values drop further beneath it. And if you're buying, this may eventually become one of the greatest bargain opportunities in Florida, but only for those patient enough to catch the actual bottom, not the falling knife on the way down. That's our number one. But before you go, here's the twist that changes this entire story. Here's the part almost nobody is talking about, and it flips this whole story on its head. Florida isn't one market, it's two. While every single town on this list is bleeding value, inland Florida condo prices are actually going up. Orlando condos? Up about 11% in the very same window these coastal towns collapsed. Same state, same year, opposite direction. Why? 3 reasons. Newer buildings that dodge the 30-year safety rule entirely. Lower flood risk. Under 5% of Orlando homes face severe flood danger, compared to nearly half of Miami. And dramatically cheaper insurance as a result. So the real headline isn't "Florida is crashing," it's this: the market is repricing climate risk in real time. The old, coastal, high-risk condo is being punished, while the newer, inland, lower-risk condo is being rewarded. Understand that, and you understand everything.